reading back over Romans, I went back a couple verses, specifically 5 through 7, to read to get a little bit more context on what it means to actually live by the flesh. And Paul talks about doing things your own way, trying harder, seeking your own pleasures and your own desires, and that looks different for each person. So you have a world full of people, and I'm sitting here in LEJ watching people go through the traffic circle, and everybody's just doing their own thing, and that's a representation of how we live when we're controlled by the flesh. We just kind of do our own thing, trying to get to work on time, trying to be a good person, trying not to run over the guy in the middle of the crosswalk. But it doesn't really lead to life, because we each have our own opinion and our own desire of what life actually looks like, and that's not what the Lord is looking for. So ultimately, when we're controlled by the flesh, we're controlled, and it leads to death, because no matter how hard we try, no matter how hard we think we're getting an understanding of what the Lord is looking for, it just leads to worry, angst, frustration, depression, and all that ultimately leads to death. Because once you get sick enough, you just quit trying, and when you quit trying, you just end up ultimately dying. Like if you're looking for food, you eventually just give up, and you give in to death. And that's what ultimately happens when we're controlled by the flesh. We continue to try and try and try, but at some point we just get so frustrated with the process that we either say this isn't real, or this isn't for me, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, and we end up leading to death and destruction. But when we partner with life, and Jesus said He's the way, the truth, and the life. There's only life through Him, and the only way to come to the Father is through Him. And when we partner with that, we find true freedom and true life, because we're not controlled by our own desires. We're controlled by the Spirit of life. He's giving us guidance and direction. So there's hope, and there's joy and peace, because it's not for us to figure out. We figure out His plan for our life, and how He wants, or where He wants us to go. But us trying to understand His ways, or trying to do enough to please Him, isn't a reality anymore. We just live in union with life itself. And everything that we do with Him is an outpouring of the life that's in us. So even though Paul says our body is dead because we've been in sin, the Spirit is life. So we have at first a life-giving Spirit that breathes life. And then because of that, because the Spirit of God lives in us, He's going to resurrect us just like He resurrected Jesus' body. So ultimately we'll have a body restoration, but initially we have a spirit restoration. And our thing for today is there's hope. We have hope that we are good enough in God's eyes. He loves us so much that He sees us in our perfected state, and will work with us and through us as we walk out our bodily journey to get us to where He ultimately wants us to be. But there's nothing that we have to do to try harder or to measure up to Him. We already are perfect in His eyes. So that's the hope for today. And the hope for tomorrow, or the blessing for tomorrow, is living that way, living unchanged in front of people, because everybody has some level of fear, anxiety, depression, just something on them that they either are partnering with or rejecting. And the more we live unchanged and unaffected by situations and circumstances, we are allowing freedom and hope and life to get onto those people as well, and show them that there's a better way of living, that we don't have to live controlled by situation and circumstances, that He sees everything and how it's going to work out. That whenever the refrigerator doesn't look like it's going to fit through the storefront door, he saw a way to get it through the door. And if you just walk through the process, it does fit. There is a plan that he has outlined for us. So that, I think that's the hope for today, is that there's freedom, and we're living in that freedom, and the hope for tomorrow is living that freedom out for people to see, so that they can find that freedom for their today.